everybody, this is me, Amin.
And this is Alex.
And welcome to another episode of Let's Talk About. And in this episode, we're going to talk about scam messages on iMessage. So today is the 4th of August, 2022. And I think this week and the past week, there's been like an increase in terms of the number of spam messages that people who are using iPhones are getting. And they're getting it through this platform called iMessage. A lot of the messages offer like job opportunities that's quite lucrative. You can earn about 200 to 900 ringgit a month.
A day.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay, a day. And so in today's episode, we're going to talk about why is there an increase in spam messages coming into specifically iMessage. Number two is, okay, if you are affected by these spam messages, how can you block the spam messages? And then number three is we're going to talk about misconceptions that people have with iMessage, because people have this understanding that they think for iPhone users, iMessage is the same as SMS. Now the question is it the same? And if I disable iMessage, will I not be able to get SMS messages, right? So that's what we're going to talk about today. And to start off with, maybe Alex, you can break down what happened the past week.
Okay, so actually this whole issue started quite long. I think sometime in 2021, there's a couple of spams that's being sent. So normally the messages come in the form like, oh, hi, I'm the recruitment manager, or I'm from the HR department and I'm offering a part-time or full-time job where you can earn like 200 to 900 ringgit per day. And some of them claim to be from TikTok. I also got a message that claims to be from MDEC as well.
Oh, wow.
So one of the messages that I got was, okay, hello, I'm the head of Human Resources Department of MDEC Company. Yeah,
MDEC Company.
MDEC Company. Our company is currently recruiting part-time employees. Wages are paid daily. You can work from home and earn 200 ringgit per day. This job is simple, can be done anywhere. To apply for this position, please contact us via, and then they leave our WhatsApp link to continue conversation.
Yep. Oh, so they want you to go to WhatsApp.
Yeah, and then you notice these messages, right? If you look carefully, it's actually sent by email through iMessage. So they get like this random email address, and then it'll be different domain names. So these messages comes in different IDs. So they don't use the same ID twice. So you keep getting it almost every single day.
Yep.
And I got it as well. And even TikTok also, the recruitment from TikTok, that's getting ridiculous. Some people assume that TikTok's actually spamming, but it's not TikTok. It's obviously a scam, because I think TikTok has clarified, they don't do these kind of things.
Yeah. Okay, so I got a message. I mean, I'm opening up my iMessage on my MacBook right now. So what I'm seeing here is, okay, the first message I got. So the latest message I got is from TikTok, not from TikTok. So from a person that alleges that he's from TikTok. And it says, "Hello, I am the recruitment manager at TikTok, and due to vacancies, we will be inviting you to work part-time from home, and the salary will be paid on the same day at 500 to 1,000 ringgit per day. WhatsApp." So they gave a WhatsApp link, so you can WhatsApp. Obviously, I didn't reply.
Yep.
Again, from TikTok. So a lot of them is from TikTok. This one from Smart Nation. Hi, saya HR manager di Smart Nation. Kerana kekosongan jawatan, kami permohonan part-time bekerja dari rumah. Gaji akan dibayar pada hari yang sama, 500 dan 800 RM sehari. So okay, one of the signs that that this is a scam is when they put the RM at the back.
Yep. It's not Malaysian.
Yeah,
looks like overseas.
Malaysians will put the RM at the front. I hope I'm not giving this tip to the scammers. I don't know.
I think they got them smart, because the messages I got, they put RM in front. So they're learning fast.
Yeah, so the scam is prevalent on iMessage. Why do you think this is happening? So yeah, I want to ask you first. Why do you think this is happening?
I think firstly, before they send this spam, right, they need to have like a database of who they can send it to, right? Because you can't be shooting blanks. You need to send to a destination.
Yep.
So I think we've covered this in the past few episodes before, that there's a lot of leakage in terms of our personal data. Like for example, the massive data leak, as in someone has been selling personal data of a lot of Malaysians, which allegedly came from the JPN's database, the National Registration Department, which the government denies is from them, and then they investigate this. We still don't know how this came about, but the information looks legit, because in those forums, right, that's notoriously known for selling like leaked data, it looks legit. It looks like they have the entire database of our IC, like they have your name, your telephone number, your address, your sex, your photos, and even your email address, all the personal details is there and looks legit. And even to prove that the database is legit, they give like a sampler. So they give a sample data of the minister, the minister as well. So that looks legit, right? So it's not surprising that scammers or syndicates out there can just buy this kind of database and use it to scam or to mislead people. And the dangerous part is that they can even use this for phishing attacks or for social engineering, because they can say, "Oh, hi, they can pretend to be a bank or any authority because they have your phone number, they have your address." As you can say, "Hi, Miss Amin, just calling from this so and so, and
it's your IC number so and so,
and your IC so and so, you're staying here." It looks convincing, right?
Yes.
So it's unavoidable these days.
It's okay. So it's scary. And I think I also want to add to say that by looking at the messages here, all of the messages kind of look like they are written in the same way. They are kind of like a lot of copy paste kind of work. Just the difference is the company that's hiring. So I have another one from Amazon, another company called MyTheo. I don't know what that is. I didn't get from MDEC. So what I wanted to say is that this is not done manually. The scammers are not like putting your name one by one. All now is done with coding.
It's like mailing list, could be a list.
So all they have to do is just tell the program to pull out email addresses from an Excel sheet and just pump out these messages to everybody. And they can send thousands, even millions of messages in a day. And the thing about scammer is the same as display ads on websites and even Facebook ads. It doesn't matter if you don't click it. The way that the ad is effective, or the way that the scam becomes effective, is you don't need to hit everybody. You don't need a high hit rate. Even if you get like a 0.35% hit rate over like 1 million numbers, that's already a lot of money that you can get.
And we heard people losing like 100,000 ringgit over scams, right? So it just take one person to just make it the whole thing worthwhile.
There's people who lose millions, right? So even if I send to like 1,000 people and only one person kena, that is already for me like at least 100,000 or at least 50,000 in the bag. So it's worth it for them because it doesn't cost them a lot. Especially on iMessage, it's an email, it doesn't cost money. If it's an SMS, it costs money because that's chargeable. If you use like mobile phones, you know that some plans charge 10 cent or 50 cent per SMS. Some don't, but if you want to send SMS at this scale, thousands and thousands of messages, it's gonna cost you a lot of money.
And also like SMS gateway, right? I think if you're gonna send like that bulk, right? I think the gateway will be alerted. Hey, this doesn't look right. They will step in and stop it from sending to everyone. So I think there's more checks in place to prevent this from happening.
You're right. And the other thing I wanted to add was, as Alex mentioned, our personal data is now severely compromised. So we've been covering a number of really significant data leaks that come not from companies or private entities. They come the leaks. The sources are from government entities. One of them, the major one, is Jabatan Pendaftaran Negara (JPN). That's where all our private data is. Our very important private data, our IC number, like Alex mentioned, our full name, our current address,
religion, or all the personal data, right?
So one thing I want to say to everybody is that if you are using an iPhone and you are already getting these weird messages on your phone via iMessage, it is safe to assume that your data is already compromised. People already have your data in some way or form, and like I mentioned, scammers work with this data on a scale that you cannot imagine. It's not like they look through one by one. Okay, I'm going to choose this person. I know this person. They look rich or whatever. It's not like that. It's just like I send to everybody. Somebody reply. I'm going to work on that. So you need to assume that your data is not safe. You need to start putting in place some safety precautions. One of them I would say is you quickly and immediately change all your passwords. Have a password manager, a reliable password manager. I'm using 1Password. Are you using a password manager?
Yeah, 1Password. I think it's good that you raise up the password issue, because I think most of us, right, we can't. The best practice is to have unique passwords for every platform.
Yep.
So at least if one platform got compromised, whoever got access to that will not use that same password for other platforms that you have.
Yep. And that's a good point. The reason why I'm asking you to change your password is, and we discussed about this, right? So it seems like, okay, let's make it clear. The JPN data leak does not leak out password because you don't store your password in JPN. And it's kind of like difficult for the scammer to connect the username and the password because it's separate. And again, like I said, they don't use one by one. It's all processed by batches. But if the scam, and I'm sure they can do this, if they can program and they have a database that can link name, an IC number or phone number, and to say, okay, this person, I know the phone number. I know that this person is using these accounts, and I know this information about this person. It's very easy for the scammer then to say, okay, let's try the IC number as a password, or let's try the last name as a password, or let's try the phone number as a password,
Or date of birth.
or date of birth as a password.
And and sometimes they can use the information because it's so personal, right?
Yeah.
They can even use it for the password recovery.
Yeah, and you can use it for password recovery because right now you have options, right? So if you cannot recover, usually password recovery is via a phone. If you cannot, you can use it use via email or there's different ways to do it, and they can do that. So while our security precautions are more advanced now, we have two-factor authentication, we have stronger password and all that stuff. The scammers are getting advanced as well, and the programs are getting advanced. So I'm saying, this is kind of like a sidetrack, but I'm saying that if you are getting messages, spam messages, and we've already reported about it on Surgeon Chow, most likely that your data is compromised. Your personal data is compromised. So the first thing that you need to do is change the password. First thing you need to do is, if you have a lot of accounts, and everybody does have a lot of accounts, you need to get a password manager. So Alex and I is using one password. We're not saying that you should get one password, but there's a lot of other password managers out there.
Yep.
And the reason why I'm saying you should use a password manager is because you just forget. You just need to remember one password. Like the app suggests. You just need to remember one password. Because it's so easy. Every time you need to sign up or every time you need to change a password, the app will randomize it for you.
Yep.
And the app will also alert you if account, like a platform or a website has been compromised. So let's say you registered for ABC Gym, for example. You have a password there, and then ABC Gym has been hacked. So if you use the same password as in ABC Gym as your bank account, then it's very easy for the scammer to just try, and that person will be able to get into your bank account. So having different passwords really help. So please, guys, even if you don't get this, right, I think now is the best time for you to get a password manager because it really helps. Okay, coming back to this, if you're getting a lot of these spams, what can you do?
Okay, I think the first thing is the normal practice for any platform is that you receive a spam or any junk or anything, the first thing you do is you can report the junk. So going back to this issue again, right? So this is sent by iMessage. So Apple has actually provided like a link at the bottom of the message that says that, okay, the sender is not in the contact list, report junk. So you can report that. So they will actually report to Apple and they'll delete it and block it. You can actually have that option. So you won't receive this spam message again from this specific sender. But as we mentioned earlier, right, these scammers or spammers, they are smart enough to use different ID all the time. So we'll be getting different same messages but different senders every single day. So you got to do that on a daily basis,
or on a basis every time you get the message.
Yes, and then that is very annoying because at one point I think some of us got it almost on a daily basis. Almost every day you get the same message. Oh, TikTok. It's annoying. So another option would be, especially for Malaysia, because I think in most Asian countries, I think we are using mostly third-party apps to communicate.
Like WhatsApp, Telegram,
all that. I think WhatsApp the one of the biggest, especially in Asia. Unlike Europe and US, where texting is still dominant. So people still text people. They use the SMS to text. And for iMessage, so it's quite an interesting platform that Apple's created. So it's an instant messaging service that's built into the message app, which is same as SMS. They just combine it together. So what happens is that this app, right, if someone sends you an SMS, it appears in the messaging app. If an Apple user sends a message to the Apple user, they don't use SMS to send. They use iMessage. So it goes through the internet and delivers to you. And what that enables is that you can enable like a rich media kind of communication. You can send the emojis, you can send a voice note and all that stuff. So you have more stuff you can do through iMessage. But going back again to Malaysia, if you're not using iMessage, like I don't use iMessage. How about you?
Nope, I don't.
And we also did a quick survey around office. I think only 1 or 2 use
Who uses iMessage?
iMessage, maybe for their family or loved ones, like one, but not mass. Because for me, it's like most of the communication I've done with friends, family, even
It's WhatsApp, dude.
it's always WhatsApp.
Yeah.
WhatsApp is a de facto messaging app in Malaysia, cross-platform.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that's why Zamira wrote an article that, if you're receiving a lot of these messages, one of the viable solution, if you don't use iMessage, is to just turn off iMessage.
To disable it completely.
Yeah, disable completely.
Right. But don't I get my bank PIN and not PUK, TAC and all that stuff through iMessage?
Yeah, that's the thing. Because the way Apple has done it so well, that iMessage and SMS is combined, right? People can't see the difference. So a lot of people assume that if you disable iMessage, it will disable your SMS, completely. Some say that, hey, what's this silly suggestion?
What kind of tip is this, right?
Yeah.
So that means I don't need to do my banking, is it?
Yeah, I don't need to do banking, is it? I cannot receive my messages, is it? Pure SMS can receive, is it? No, it's not. Because if you disable iMessage, you still receive SMS. That's one thing I want to make clear. And actually, in fact, when you look at your messaging app, right, you can tell whether an app is sent by iMessage or SMS or MMS. So if the message is in blue color, you see the blue bubble, that's iMessage. If it appears in green, that's SMS, MMS. So if you disable iMessage, right, your SMS still can come through. So that includes your OTP password, or if you log into, online service, they send a verification code, all that, you still can get it. No problem.
All your bill reminders also you get.
Yes.
Like SMS is like also the de facto platform for
reminders.
all the services to send you, oh, your bill is overdue, your thing is overdue.
Even traditional mail. So you use traditional mail to receive reminders to pay up.
Yeah.
Nobody send postcards anymore.
Yeah.
And so that's the thing. So a lot of people they're not familiar with that. And I also saw some tweets, right, complaining to MCMC, hey, I'm getting this TikTok SMS, but it's actually iMessage. Yeah, so that's the difference here.
Yeah, and that's the problem, right? Okay, so you talk about like MCMC, you can complain to MCMC, but to be honest, okay, I'll be very honest, MCMC is useless at this point in time. Yeah, they are useless. Unfortunately, they can't help you. You got to fend for yourself, man. The problem with this one is there's no Apple does not. Okay, there is Apple has an office in Malaysia. I want to say that MCMC doesn't have jurisdiction, but it's quite difficult for them to address this problem because, like Alex mentioned, right? And if you look at all the messages, like if I go through all the iMessages I get, right, the sender is one of them is KZPVOQ902029 @outlook.com. It's just some random email.
And also another thing is a privacy issue as well, right? Because I can imagine if, let's say I'm Apple, right? Because they are all about privacy, right? Because all these messages that sent by iMessage are encrypted end to end.
Yep.
So it's not in their jurisdiction to really check whether this email is legit or not. This message is legit or not. That's how I feel.
Yeah, because I'm thinking like, okay, if I'm MCMC and I get this report from people saying, hey, MCMC, I'm getting spam messages from iMessage. So, okay, I'll take a sample of the spam messages and I'll send it to Apple. Apple, these are spam messages that users have been sending us. Can you do something about it?
Yep.
At most, what Apple can do is block the random email address, but you cannot block the domain. You cannot block @outlook.com.
Yep, correct. They're all
or at hotmail.com or even at iCloud.com, which is Apple's platform.
Yep.
So why I'm saying this is because number one, Zamira wrote an article and saying that, okay, this spam is happening and this is what you can do. And like Alex mentioned, it's about disabling iMessage. If you're not using it, just disable it.
Yep.
Then we got like tons of backlash from our readers. I don't know from our readers or from wherever, because it's all on social media, saying that, oh, okay, if we disable iMessage, how are we going to get messages? SMS specifically. But if you look at the platform itself, iMessage is not even written in any of the applications. So if you go into your iPhone or even on my MacBook right now, right, it says messages and not iMessage.
Yeah. It's only when you look inside.
Yes. Then you can see that, oh, there's iMessages and SMS. So what's the difference? Like if I'm looking at my Mac right now, I can't see any SMSs. But if I look at my iPhone, I can see SMSs and iMessage. Then you ask me, oh, what about messages that I'm getting that has a phone number? Well, that's because that person is an iPhone user and is sending that message to you using the Messages app, but it is sent to you via the iMessage platform
Yep.
and not through the phone number. So it's not charged.
Yep.
So that's the difference. So if you are the one that's reading our article and we're saying that, okay, disable iMessage, and your concern is getting reminders from your services, getting TAC from your bank and all that, we can assure you that that won't happen because it's two completely different platforms.
Yeah, but I must remind you that if you have multiple Apple devices, say you have an iPhone, you have iPad, and a Mac, you have to disable iMessage on all devices, because you know why? If you disable iMessage on your iPhone, if it's, let's say a friend of yours send a message on iPhone, it will not go to your phone, but it will pop up on your Mac and iPad.
Yep.
Yeah, so you won't get the message.
Yep.
So to make sure that they are sending to you by SMS, you got to turn off iMessage on all devices.
Yes.
Yeah.
And sometimes, parents specifically, you might link all your accounts to all your devices. So if you are in the Apple ecosystem, you have an iPhone, a MacBook, and a tablet, for example, and it's all linked up. So you might disable iMessage on your iPhone and you don't see it anymore. But my concern is on your tablet, because most of the time kids use tablets and they might accidentally click because there's a WhatsApp link. They might accidentally copy, send it over, and inadvertently something might happen. So be sure to disable it on all your devices, like you mentioned.
Yeah, and for those who are concerned that, am I doing it right? So one option, one recommendation I would do is, after you turn off your iMessage, get a friend who's using iPhone, who has iMessage turned on, to send a message to you and see whether it pops up on your phone.
Yep.
If it does, which means that yes, it's working, means you are getting the message through SMS.
Yep.
Yep.
Oh, okay. So send a message using a phone number.
Yeah, let's say for example I disable my iMessage to make sure that I can receive it. I ask you, send me a message from your iPhone. So what it does is, normally is they try to send you iMessage. If it cannot reach you, it will convert to SMS. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, well, so the downside is, for those of you who's been using iMessage, I know you can send a lot of emojis.
Yeah.
If you're on an Apple Watch, you can send the heart lah, whatever, the drawing, the heartbeat, whatever. I don't know who does that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think there's some who do, but for me, the way, because we did a survey in the office, and we all agree that most of us use WhatsApp to send messages.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the most for me is a video call, and I do it on WhatsApp.
And you can use FaceTime. It's not affected. It's different service. Yeah.
What I'm trying to say is, you can send all these different things like emojis lah, voice notes lah, those drawings lah, whatever. So what I'm trying to say is, the most I send to people is a video, or a video call.
Yep.
Every time, most of the time, I'll just send voice notes, because I'm driving and all that. So I don't know who uses all these fancy features that's available on my iMessage. I'm not saying that it's terrible, but the concern is right now this huge trend of spams coming in. We don't know what Apple is doing, and to Apple's credit, all this is encrypted. They don't even know that this is happening, and users can report, but the scammers are just changing the email addresses. So it's a cat and mouse game all the time lah.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty sure that the folks at Apple is aware about this problem, and I'm pretty sure they are working on something to address this issue, because I think these kind of spams will not go away, and then I'm pretty sure that they don't want scammers to take advantage of their platform. So I have a feeling that they are working on a solution to this. Maybe because remember that Apple, there's a news that's saying that Apple can actually has the technology to weed out child pornography using AI to identify the message. Like, they don't see the content, but the AI is going to do that for you to read it out.
I don't know how they do that.
Yeah, I mean, these things can be solved through technology. And another simple solution would be, if let's say Apple treats iMessage the way email is treated, like for example Gmail, right? Like if let's say the content things, I think this is spam, they move it to a spam folder. Maybe that could be another solution. Treat iMessage like email.
Yeah, but that's a whole different set of rules and regulations that they have to change, which means that they have to work on the core of the service. So the core of the service with regards to iMessage is it's quite similar to WhatsApp.
Yep.
And if you're saying that Apple says that they have technology to weed out child pornography, I would think that WhatsApp, Telegram, and everybody else has the same thing. The problem is, I think the scammers are hiding within the end-to-end encryption safety net. So it's quite difficult to. I mean, I can't think of a way that they can do it.
Another way,
but okay, and then the other thing, what I'm trying to say is, but now, the the scammers are exposing, I think, one of Apple's weaknesses, because this runs on uh, online services and not phone number. So it's more easier for people to just create email addresses on the go.
Yep.
With WhatsApp, I can block a number and not get a spam from that number. And for me to register for another number is for the scammer to register for another number takes more time. I cannot just
it's more effort.
randomly program somebody, put a program into a computer. Okay, computer, create 1,000 email addresses for me.
Yep.
So that way, WhatsApp is kind of safer in a sense.
Yep.
I think Apple has an uphill battle with this type of spam coming to iMessage. But again, credit where credit is due. Apple is very committed into security and privacy, so I'm not really concerned about that. In this case, if you are an iMessage user, you just have to continue blocking and blocking and blocking, or just ignore it completely.
Yep.
Anything you want to add?
Yeah, I was saying that if this maybe not the most Apple thing they can do is like if they do have a feature, right? Because you see the message is a very similar pattern. It can give users add a filter rule there. Okay, if there's a message that contains this phrase, go straight to junk.
Yeah, I mean they can do that, but the problem is it kind of again changes the core of the function of what iMessage can do. I'm not sure whether iMessage is capable of doing that, and adding that might change the core of the function, because at the end of the day, it's quite a basic messaging platform. It's just end-to-end encrypted, and you add on to that voice messages lah, memojis lah, animated memojis lah, and stuff like that.
And also integration with other services like Apple Pay and all that, review share and all that.
Okay, so why I say it might disturb the core is because if you put in that filter, and if the spammer is sending like 1,000 messages or millions of messages across the platform, and you add the filter, that might cause it to crash. Something like that lah. I don't know. It could, because the filter is like another layer to slow things down, right? So it's gonna read, cannot, because it's reading messages. Cannot. So at the core you cannot, because it's encrypted.
Yeah, it's encrypted. Yeah.
Unless it's decrypted lah.
I'm saying on a device level. So
from where you can see it, the filter can see it also.
Yeah. So once it lands in your phone, I mean, it can be done on a device level, because Apple doesn't do it in server side, so it can be done on the device side.
Yeah. Possible, but that might crash if it's served on here, then that might crash your device. I don't know, but yeah, it's something that they can do.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty sure that Apple's aware of this problem and they're working on a solution. So just hopefully they will come out as soon as possible. Yeah.
All right, I think we've covered pretty much everything. So on today's episode, we set out to talk about what is happening with iMessage and all these spams, what kind of spams that we're getting. So it's clear that we're getting scam job offerings providing lucrative earnings on a daily basis, up to 1,000 ringgit a day, from very reputable brands like MDEC, TikTok. I even got messages from Amazon. So that's how the scam works. We also covered why this is happening. Like I said, it's very easy to create email addresses, and I think there's a loophole that the scammers have found out in iMessage to send to users. And this is because this is also compounded by the fact that our email data, our personal data, has been compromised severely via a number of very big leaks that's been happening in the country. And then number 3 was to talk about the misconception that people have with iMessage and SMS. Obviously, these two are different platforms, so we've covered all that. If you have any questions or comments or suggestions about what we talked about today, just put them in the comment section below. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. We covered pretty much everything. Yeah. Okay. So we are also available on podcasts. If you want to listen to us on podcasts, you can search for Let's Talk About Soya Chin Chow. We are available on all of your favorite podcast platforms. If you're listening to us on podcast, please do give us a 5-star rating, because that helps the show. If you're watching us on YouTube, give us a thumbs up if the show has been useful and informative to you. Drop a comment. Give us your thoughts. What you think about the show? What do you think about what we talked about? Have you gotten any weird iMessages? Are you using iMessage as a platform over WhatsApp? Let us know. And yeah, if you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel. And and you can also drop a voice note if you're listening to podcasts and you want to drop a voice note and share your thoughts. Drop them at
Let's Talk About at soyachinchow.com.
Yeah, you can drop a voice note there. Okay, guys, I think that's pretty much it. This is me, Amin.
And this is Alex.
Catch you guys later.
Bye.